rest of the people that are watching us live on internet, good afternoon. And as always, it is good to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. No, sisters and brothers, this is our Black History Month. Since they named Black History, I deal with it. But personally, I don't like the word Black History, because then somebody come up and say white history, then we're going to get offended. You understand? But being that it's out there, we're going to deal with it, because the Lord put it in my mind years ago to show that Black history was not just about American history. Our history goes back a long way, sisters and brothers. But then again, too, we did come to this land as slaves, and we're going to find out that we have the same history no matter where we find ourselves. So this is Black history, told by the prophets, part 2, which is slavery. Black history told by the prophets, part 2, which is slavery. Because sisters and brothers, the only reason I'm dealing with Black history because it's in the Bible. Sometimes brothers call and they want to go to this and talk about this people, and you find it. Look, I'm not concerned about that. My primary thing is about salvation. This is just one thing in the book that I deal with to show who is who, because the Lord must want me to show it, because otherwise it wouldn't be in the Bible. And to show also our people why that some of the things that we have gone through, show them why we've gone through. The people don't pay no attention to that. There is no coincidences on this planet, sisters and brothers. If you check close enough, you will find out that the Lord called it all, even what happened to us as a people. Because God made us, gave us an option, and we took the wrong option. It's all that simple. That's why I tell people all the time. I talk to people sometimes when they want to oppose and this and that. According to the scripture, I tell them God made you a free agent. He said he set before you good and evil, life and death. Choose good and live. But if you decide to choose evil and die, that is your choice. That's why I don't get off into trying to make anybody do anything, because it's all in the book. I don't have time to fight anybody. I'm getting too old for that anyway. But we're going to look into this, sister and brother, and show why we are in this condition. And this is why we have to understand that we have no reason to be angry with any other people. Because whatever come upon us, sisters and brothers, the God whose name that we carry put this on us, because we made the wrong choice. We're going to start this in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Deuteronomy the 28th. Because I remember years ago I went to what you call a Hebrew meeting. I don't know if they still have them, because I opted out. Well, we would go in and brothers get to talking. And this guy walk around telling me we at war with our enemies. I said, look, I'm not at war with anybody. I don't have no enemies. I might be an enemy to somebody else, but I don't have no enemies. Because I realize that whatever happened to me, I know who put it on me. And I know the reason it's on me. Therefore, I can be patient and do the right thing until he take it off me. We're going to start at verse 1. Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Now, this is God talking to Israel once he got them out of Egypt, and they was in the wilderness when he gave us these choices. 28 and 1. Go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
go ahead,
to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now he said, look, if you do all the commandments which I command you this day, I'm going to set you on high above all the nations of the earth. I'm going to tell you something, sisters and brothers. Still, Israel is kicking against the commandments. Don't nobody want to go and deal with the commandments. When people want to try and they go into Paul's writing and find stuff that they don't understand and try and kill the commandments. But all of this stuff we're going to show you happened to us because we wouldn't keep the commandments, but now it's okay, we don't have to do it and everything is copacetic. I don't think so. He said, so look, if you keep my commandments, he's going to set us on high on the earth. Go ahead and read.
And all these blessings shall come on thee.
Go ahead.
And overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Go ahead.
Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field.
Go ahead.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground,
Go ahead.
and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
In other words, blessed is everything that belongs to you. Your livestock, your home, even your children. Now this is the fruit of the womb, sisters and brothers. He said, blessed if you should do this. Skip down to verse 10. Verse 10 and go ahead.
And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee.
Because the name of the Lord that we'll call back is Israel, sisters and brothers. All the nations are going to see that we are called by the name of Israel. That's the name of the Lord. When Jesus adopted us, and I do mean Jesus, he gave us one of his names, Israel. He said people are going to be afraid of you. They're afraid of you now, though, but for the wrong reason. But skip down to verse 12. Verse 12 and go ahead.
The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season.
Go ahead.
And to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow.
In other words, he's going to bless you. You're going to be the top nation, and you're going to be the top financiers on the earth. So people are going to come to Israel when they want money. They want to borrow money. You, go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt be above only.
Boy, that's a big statement, ain't it?
Yes.
You're going to be the head, not the tail, and you shall be above only. That's the only position that you fit, the top position. No matter what's going on, you is going to be the head of it. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt not be beneath.
Go ahead.
If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them.
That's if you obey his commandments. That is his condition. However, if you don't, here's the other shoe that's going to drop. Skip down to verse 15. Verse 15 and go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now, it's going to come to pass if you will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
To observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Go ahead.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, look, the Lord, you always use the word this day. Why? Because whatever the Lord said this day, it is good for all days.
That's right.
Because the Lord said, I'm God and I change not. So what he told you this evening is good. This morning is good for this evening. What he told you in the beginning is good in the end. He don't change his mind. But if you should fail to obey the commandments, which I command you this day, go ahead and read.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So as you're going to be cursed in the city, go ahead and read.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
You're going to be cursed in the country. No matter where you find yourself, you're going to be cursed. Go ahead and read.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Go ahead.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
You know, whatever you accomplish, you're going to be cursed. And your fruit of your body and your children going to be cursed. Go ahead and read.
And the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
Well, that's all them curses. Skip now to verse 25 and go ahead.
The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
He didn't say migrate, didn't he?
Moved.
So you're going to go out against your enemies one way, and they're going to scatter you 10 ways, and you're going to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. We are in every nation, sisters and brothers. Skip down to verse 36 and go ahead.
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Go ahead.
And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Because all the gods that we serve ain't nothing but pagan gods that we set up in these nations. We don't know about these gods. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
You know, astonishment, a byword. All these sisters and brothers said a thing that's scorn, object of contempt. And everybody going to always be astounded at your condition and your behavior among all the nations that you're going to be scattered. Go ahead and read.
Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
You're going to have sons and daughters, but you are not going to enjoy them. Why? Go ahead and read.
For they shall go into captivity.
Because they're going to go into captivity. That's what's happening right now. What verse was that?
We just finished 41.
Skip down to verse 43 and go ahead.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Now, when Israel came out of Egypt, it was a mixed multitude. A mixed multitude. All kind of people was among us. So the Lord didn't name no specific people. He just said, the stranger that's among you going to come up very high, and you going to come down very low. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Now, this telling me that no matter who it is, they're above us, sisters and brothers. And I look around and see it. Who fixing your plumbers? Who cutting your grass? Who doing your electrical work? Who are you buying your grocery from? Who you buying your wigs from? The Koreans. Who doing your fingernails? The Chinese. Everybody that's serving you look like somebody else. So that's strange. In other words, these are the ones that you have to go to. And when you have to go to make a loan, do you go across to the First National Black Bank? No.
What verse was that?
We're in the middle of 44.
Go ahead and read.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
And he going to be the head. That's that stranger. And thou shalt be the tail. So you ain't ahead of nobody, sister and brother, but go ahead and read.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
Now you can't get away from them. Like I saw people, I'm going to move out of the city. I'm going to the suburbs. Then you go to the suburb, and then one day you look in the living room. That guy you was running from, he's sitting in your living room looking at your TV. He might not get you, but the other neighbor he just got last night. Ain't no escape. The curse going to follow you. Go ahead and read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
go ahead,
to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
See, and this is what people don't understand. They're always talking about, well, what can we do to correct our young people? Teach them the law.
That's right.
God's law. All we want to get out, up with hope, down with dope. Up with teaching this word to your children, and down with foolishness. In case you haven't noticed, look around you. You have more men in here than you have women. That's unusual for a church, ain't it?
That's right.
Why? Because, and a lot of young men, why? Is because they found out that they was about something. They come from somewhere. And they are something, and they're going someplace. They listen, but you don't have the right conversation. Go ahead and read. What verse?
Verse 46.
Go ahead.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
And these curses are going to be upon us for a sign and for a wonder.
And upon thy seed forever.
Now, and so the Lord is giving you, what is a sign? That's identifies, don't it? So whoever you see these things happening to, you just put your hand on Israel. And we're going to read some more. Go ahead and read.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness.
Go ahead.
And with gladness of heart. For the abundance of all things.
Go ahead.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
He said, look, because you will not serve the Lord and enjoy the good things he has from you, you're going to serve your enemies in hunger, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. You going to work and you come back tired and wore out, and you got to decide whether you going to buy groceries or pay the rent. But then you happy, and you learn how to live in suffering, because that's all you have. Pay attention, finish that.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Look, you ain't getting out of this until the Lord comes. People think, well, you know, things are better. Look around you, sisters and brothers. Look around you. It's because I have food on my table. Everybody, the whole world is at ease. But you better look at all the tables. Right. A whole lot of tables don't have food on them. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to come to your house and get your food off your table.
That's right.
Skip down to verse 64. Verse 64. Verse 64. And go ahead.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Go ahead.
And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
And when we get to these places, we're going to serve other gods. Look, sisters and brothers, we don't know about the God of Easter. We don't know about the God of Christmas. We don't know about the God that's going to take his servants to heaven instead of him coming down here and beating them up. We don't know about that God, sisters and brothers. We don't know about the God of Sunday. The God we serve said the Sabbath day, which is Saturday, is his day of rest. The only day he sanctified. We don't know about them other gods. Said, but we're going to serve these gods, and we're doing it. If you don't believe it, just pick your church tomorrow and go in it. You finished that 64?
Yes, I did.
Skip down to 66 and go ahead.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee.
You're the most likely to get killed among all the places that you find yourself. Your life is in doubt among you. Go ahead and read.
And thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life.
So you're going to be scared day and night. And you're not going to have no assurance that you're going to be alive the next day, sisters and brothers. In other words, who is the most likely in this country to get killed?
That's right.
That's us. But skip down to verse 6 to 8 and read it.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Look, Lord told you in Hosea 11 and 5 that you will not go back to Egypt. So this Egypt, because Egypt to Israel is a house of bondage. So when he say he's going to scatter you all over, Egypt is not all over the world, sister and brother. So when he said Egypt, that means he's going to bring you into house of bondage again by ships. Go ahead and read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Go, and when you get there, what's going to happen?
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So when you get to the place you come by ship, you're going to be sold to your enemies as male and female slave, and ain't nobody going to buy you out of it. Now, how did your forefathers get here? What happened to them when they got here?
Sold.
That's why you got a group of Hebrew brothers running around. They got, well, the Puerto Ricans are Hebrews, then the Native Americans are Hebrews. And these, I said, look, they come a brother, what can we prove? I said, God gave you something in the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. And he said, and this shall be a sign of who you are. What's that, brother? I said, all you got to do is find out who was brought over here slaves. And sold as slaves when they got here. Well, that was us then. That's us.
There you go.
I don't remember nobody selling Puerto Rican. I don't remember nobody selling American Indian. All you got to do is deal with it. He said, this is going to be a sign for you. A sign is something to identify. So now he put before you the blessings and the curses. But we chose the curse. Let me show you why I know it. Let's go into Daniel's, the 9th chapter. Daniel's chapter 9. See, the Lord gave us that choice, didn't he? Don't you know we had not even reached the promised land at that time? When he brought us into Egypt, he laid everything before us because the Lord said, look, he called the end from the beginning. So he's going to find out here and now, let you know here and now what's going to happen to you if you do well, and what's going to happen to you if you don't do well. Daniel's chapter 9, and we're going to read verse 9 first. Go ahead and read.
To the Lord our God belong mercies and forgivenesses, though we have rebelled against him.
Yes, and we have. And what happened? Skip down to verse 11. Verse 11, and read it.
Yeah. All Israel have transgressed thy law.
How many of Israel?
All Israel.
Go ahead and read.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
Go ahead.
Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
Ain't that something?
That's right.
All Israel have transgressed. And they, by departing from the Lord, they would not keep his law. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us. Go ahead and read.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Ain't that something? And we just got through reading what Moses said. Go ahead.
And he had confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as had been done upon Jerusalem.
Boy, that is a big statement, ain't it? So he brought upon us the word that Moses spoke. And he said, look on the whole heaven. We're going to show you some of that, sister and brother, that it have not been done to any other nation which have been done to us. Not a whole nation, sisters and brothers. So now, this let us know that we have come under the curse.
That's right.
Let's go into Isaiah the 5th chapter. Isaiah chapter 5. That's why I don't have nothing against anybody, sisters and brothers. And I'm not blowing my horn because I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm just saying it because it's a matter of fact. Right. Probably if I could get the same blessing without using the name, I probably wouldn't. Because you say Hebrew Israelites, everybody, lock your doors, turn your alarm on your car, lock your front gate, sit down by the door with a shotgun in your hand. Isaiah 5, and we're going to start reading at verse 11. Isaiah 5 and verse 11. Okay, go ahead.
Warn to them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night to wine and flame them.
He said, warn the people that there's always partying all the time. We didn't learn how to party here. We learned how to party in Israel. We were so busy, like young people don't understand boogalooing. So we were so busy jumping up and down until we forgot to serve God. Go ahead and read.
And the harp and the viol, the tabret and pipe and wine are in their feasts.
Go ahead.
But they regard not the work of the Lord, neither consider the operation of his hand.
Ain't that something? They're playing music and getting high and drinking wine and whiskey, but ain't nobody considering the work of the Lord, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge.
Therefore, my people have gone into captivity because they have no knowledge.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
And your honorable men are dumb. And the multitude are dumber because they listen to them. Go ahead and read.
Therefore hell hath enlarged herself, and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
So hell have enlarged herself. When you think hell, you think the devil with a pitchfork and fire. Sisters, brothers, hell is a state of condition. You have a lake of fire, but still it's a state of condition. You in hell when you're working, you can't pay your rent and buy groceries. It's hell when you buy a car and have to hide it from the repo man. It's hell when you go in your house and you have to put in 15 locks and try to keep people out. It's hell when you're scared of your own children and your own young folks.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
Police roll up and look at you, you're scared of that. Whole lot of bad conditions for us, sisters and brothers. So what have we done? We parted and we shaking it up and we shaking it down and we still, and hell have increased itself. But we like to think that, well, you know, brother, everything's going to get better, yeah, when the Lord comes. Let's go to Songs of Solomon. And we're going to show you this Songs of Solomon is not about Solomon and a whole lot of strange women that he dealt with. We're going to show you who this is about. Because the Lord loved this people, sisters and brothers. But it's just like a man loving a contrary woman that will not do nothing right and won't listen to nothing. Or a woman loving an abusive man that always like to verbal and physical abuse her. It's bad, sisters and brothers, to love somebody that don't return. And God put that on the scale of him and his people. And we're going to look at this. So when he come in, just like coming from home, coming from work. Hi, dear. Did she look at you and going back in the room? You be surprised, sisters and brothers. Songs of Solomon 1, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Songs of Solomon 1 and 1. Okay, go ahead.
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth.
Go ahead.
For thy love is better than wine.
Now this is supposed to be the woman, okay? For thy love is better than wine. Go ahead and read.
Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth.
Your name is as ointment poured forth. Your name is healing. We don't know but one that have a healing name, but go ahead and read.
Therefore do the virgins love thee. Draw me. We will run after thee.
Go ahead.
The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine.
Go ahead.
The upright love thee.
The love right. So, that takes us someplace else, don't it? The upright love thee. Who are the upright? The one that walks in God's laws and statutes. Go ahead and read.
I am black.
Now he going to answer this woman.
Right.
Look what he said now.
I am black, but calmly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
I am black, but calmly, O you daughters of Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
As the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
Go ahead.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me.
That's because the sun hath looked upon me. That's a metaphor, sisters and brothers. The sun cannot turn you black. It can give you skin cancer. So you mean, I am black. Look what else he said. Go ahead and read.
My mother's children were angry with me.
My mother's children was angry with me. We're going to put a marker there. We're coming back here. Because we're going to find out who's doing all this talking. Talking about he's black and his mother's children is angry with me. I don't want to know who this guy is that his own people hated. Let's go into Psalm 69. 69th chapter of Psalm. But keep your marker here. We're coming back. Because these things, sisters and brothers, the Lord put here because he wants us to know them. And it's not hard. All you got to do is read this book. Psalm chapter 69. And we're going to start reading at verse 6. Psalm chapter 69 and verse 6. This is the same one that's talking. Go ahead and read.
Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts,
go ahead,
be ashamed for my sake.
Now, this is somebody that's talking to God. So let not them, and it's not David. We're going to show you that. Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord, for my sake. Go ahead and read.
Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel.
Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel. But go ahead and read.
Because for thy sake,
Because for thy sake, go ahead and read.
I have borne reproach.
I have borne reproach.
Shame hath covered my face.
Shame have covered my face.
I have become a stranger unto my brethren.
I have become a stranger unto my brethren.
And an alien unto my mother's children.
And an alien to my mother's children. In other words, they treat me like a foreigner. Go ahead and read.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up.
And the reproaches of them that reproach thee,
and the reproaches of them that reproach thee,
are fallen upon me.
Fallen on me. Let's go find out who this guy is, whose mother's children hate him, who is black. We got to see who this guy is. Let's go into Romans the 15th chapter. Romans the 15th chapter. That's why I get a lot of Hebrews don't like the new book. I said, that's why you so dumb. Oh, Brother Boy, you shouldn't say that. Why not? Romans 15, and we're going to read verse 1. Romans 15 and verse 1. Go ahead and read.
We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak.
Those of us that are strong should bear the infirmities of the weak. Go ahead.
And not to please ourselves.
And not to please ourselves, because we like somebody else. So skip down to verse 3 and read it. Go ahead.
For even Christ pleased not himself.
For even Christ pleased not himself.
But as it is written.
But as it is written.
The reproaches of them that reproached thee.
The reproaches of them that reproached thee.
Fell on me.
Fell on me. So we know that was Jesus talking about the mouth of David, don't we? That's how you find out about stuff. So if that's the case, then he's the same one whose mother's children
were angry with him,
didn't like him. And that's the same one that said, I am black.
That's right.
Let's go back to Songs of Solomon now, because I want to identify this guy so you will know who this guy is. Back to Songs of Solomon. We're going to start at the top of this verse 6 again. And we're going to read it all. Verse 6, go ahead and read.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun had looked upon me.
Go ahead.
My mother's children were angry with me.
Go ahead.
They made me the keeper of the vineyard, but mine own vineyard have I not kept.
Oh, they did something else then. They made me the keeper of other vineyards, but mine own vineyards have I not kept. Who is his vineyard? Let's go into Isaiah the 5th chapter and find out. He said, because my mother's children have made me. In other words, they forced me to keep other vineyards, but I can't keep them. Who? My mother's children.
That's right.
And now who is his mother's children? Isaiah 5 and start at verse 1. Isaiah 5 and 1. Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 1. Okay, read it.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved, a song of my beloved touching his vineyard.
We're talking about the same love story.
That's right.
Isaiah's just carrying it on. Go ahead and read.
My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it.
Go ahead.
And gathered out the stones thereof. And planted it with the choicest vine.
Go ahead.
And built a tower in the midst of it.
Go ahead.
And also made a wine press therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
Look, my well-beloved planted a vineyard and gave it everything it needed. Good laws, good statutes, good land, prosperous children. So when he looked for wild grapes, which was the truth, for grapes, rather, which was the truth, he found wild grapes, which is breaking his law. Go ahead and read.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem,
go ahead,
and men of Judah,
go ahead,
judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard.
Go ahead.
What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?
He said, I want y'all to judge between me and my vineyard. I done gave him everything. What else is there left that I could have done that I didn't do to my vineyard?
That's right.
I gave them the choices of everything. Go ahead and read.
Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes.
Ain't that something? So when I looked for grapes, that brought forth wild grapes. Go ahead and read.
And now go to. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard.
I will tell you what Satan gonna do to my vineyard.
I will do.
I'm gonna tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Well, what the white man gonna do to my vineyard?
I will do.
What the Hamites gonna do to my vineyard?
I will do.
I want you to get that in your mind.
That's right.
Yes, sir. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. Go ahead.
I will take away the hedge thereof.
I'll take the hedge away. In other words, I'm gonna let my angels, I ain't gonna let them protect them.
That's
no
right.
more. Go ahead and read.
And it shall be eaten up.
Go ahead.
And break down the wall thereof. And it shall be trodden down.
I'm gonna take away all this protection. Anybody that want to come in and abuse them can at will. Go ahead and read.
And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged.
Go ahead.
But there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
Boy, the Lord is really jumping on this vineyard, ain't he? Woo, I hate to be these people. Go ahead and read.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
Oh, no, I am these people. Finish that verse.
And the men of Judah, his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression. For righteousness, but behold a cry.
Look, he said the vineyard of the Lord is the house of Israel, and the pleasant plants are the house of Judah. So this is the one that said he was black.
That's right.
This is the one that said his mother's children made him the keeper of other vineyards while his own vineyard is not unkept. Look at all the other people around you. Everybody prospering and doing well. What about you? Your children in the streets killing one another because they don't know no better. They're strung out on dope because brother is told the only way for you to live good is to sell dope to your sisters and brothers and murder them. Your daughters are in the streets prostituting. Why? It's because the babies that they got, their daddies ran off and left them. But the Lord done really trodden this vineyard down, sisters and brothers. You can't find nobody worse than that stranger, whoever he is, he's above us. Think about it. The vineyard of the Lord is the house of Israel because he planted us. He set us, when he put us set up, we were set up with everything that we needed. Let's go into Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. Jeremiah chapter 2. So when we start showing you the things and you start looking around and say, wait, that happened to us, now you know why. Sometimes being beat is bad, but knowing why you being beat, sometimes that eases the pain a little bit. Because you say, look, maybe I can fix something and deflect some of this abuse. Jeremiah, the 2nd chapter. Jeremiah chapter 2. And we're going to start reading at verse 4. Jeremiah 2 and verse 4. God's still talking to this vineyard. Go ahead.
Hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of Jacob.
Go ahead.
And all the families of the house of Israel.
Everybody. It's called Israel. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain?
And he asked the question, what sin have your fathers found in me? This is God asking this question. That they have gone away from me and they're walking after vanity. They're walking after the God of Easter, the God of Christmas. The God going to take you to jail. The God that gets you confused, tell you that you're in heaven and then turn around and tell you you're going to be raised. This vanity cannot stand the slightest amount of examination. God going to tell you that you in heaven and old low-down John is in hell. Then he going to turn around and tell you there's a judgment day. Look like somebody been judged already, don't it? So he said, ask your fathers, what have I done? What sin have I committed? That they have walked away from me and started walking after vanity. Go ahead and read. Skip now, that's 5th verse, right?
Yes.
Skip now to verse 19 and look what the Lord said. Verse 19, go ahead.
Thine own wickedness shall correct thee.
Your own wickedness shall correct you, not somebody else. Go ahead and read.
And thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy God.
Go ahead.
And that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord God of hosts.
He said, I want you to know that it is evil and it is bitter that you walked away from me and you don't fear me no more. I want you to understand that. Go ahead and read.
For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands.
Go ahead.
And thou saidest, I will not transgress. When upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harp.
Ain't that something? He's of old time I've broken your yoke. And I've taken you out of bondage and servitude, and you promised me that you would not sin against me no more, and you all while before the promise out your mouth, you committing sin. You don't do that to this God and get away with it. What verse was that?
We just finished 20.
Go ahead and read.
Yet I had planted thee a noble vine.
Yet I have planted thee a noble vine. Remember the vineyard? I had planted you a noble vine. Go ahead and read.
Holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
Ain't that something? I have planted you a noble vine. I mean, you was a thing of pleasure. How then have you turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine? You don't have no honor. You don't have no laws. Your word ain't nothing. And you follow things that don't make sense. Skip down to verse 30. Verse 30. And go ahead.
In vain have I smitten your children.
So I ought to beat your children for nothing. They ain't no correction. Go ahead and read.
They receive no correction. Your own sword had devoured your prophets like a destroying lion.
So who killed the prophets, sisters and brothers?
Israel did.
Israel. Ain't nobody else coming and kill the prophets. You've had prophets been sent to strange nations, and they prophesied against them, and they didn't lay a finger on them. But not Israel. There was a king that's going to kill a prophet, and the guy going to come up and read out of the book that the Lord said before what this prophet told him. The king got a paring knife and cut it and put it in the fire. I don't want to hear nothing that the Lord said. This is us. Go ahead and read.
O generation, see the word of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel?
Go ahead.
A land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are lords, we will come no more unto thee.
Ain't this what we're saying now? Oh, we're lords. Look at all these brothers running around spitting on the name of Jesus. Calling him and cussing him. It just didn't start with this young generation. In my generation, I had a brother, I ain't gonna call his name, told me if he walked up at Jesus, he put 6 jackets in him, in a revolver, shoot him 6 times. But before he died, with his evil behind, he asked me, would I talk to his son, which he had polluted with evilness. Told him, hey, ain't nothing I can do with him. You have messed him up. He went to his grave knowing that he done messed this child up. You understand what I'm saying? So he said, look, I planted you an evil vine, a noble vine, but you corrupted yourself. And the prophets I sent to you, you killed them. Who was this talking to these people? This was Jesus. Let's go into Luke, the 13th chapter. Luke chapter 13. And he called it the way it was, sisters and brothers. But we don't listen. And we still up against it. And we still are not listening. I'll never forget what your president said.
What you got to lose?
Come to me. What can you lose? I heard him. Because he's telling you ain't got nothing in the past.
Right.
So if you come to me and you don't get nothing, you ain't lost nothing. I listen to people. That's what the Lord said, hear, O Israel. I listen to this Gentile.
That's right. That's right.
Telling me to come to you. Because ain't nothing, what can you lose? He right. We ain't got nothing to lose. Luke 13. We're going to start reading at verse 34. Luke 13 and 34. Okay, go ahead.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophets.
O Rome in Italy.
Jerusalem.
Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, that killeth the prophets. Go ahead and read.
And stonest them that are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered thy children together?
Go ahead.
As a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and ye would not.
How often I would have gathered you together. This is Jesus talking. Like a hen gather her brood under her, but you would not. Didn't he say they have made me keepers of other vineyards, while mine own vineyard has gone unkept? How is that? Because of our evil and our sin and breaking his commandments, he couldn't bless us.
That's right.
So he blessed all the nations around us. Because it all come from the Lord. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead and read.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate.
Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Somebody else is in your house, on your property. Go ahead and read.
And verily I say unto you, ye shall not see me until the time come when you shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
And we're still waiting on that, sister and brother. We're still waiting on it. He said, but look, I would have gathered you, but you wouldn't allow yourself to be gathered. So the blessing I had for you, I had to give it to somebody else. You made me dislike you. Let's go into Jeremiah, the 12th chapter. Jeremiah chapter 12. Because sisters and brothers, the Lord has laid this thing out and he wants us to understand this. That it is him. And this thing that's happening with us, that's between us and him. Nobody else. Nobody else. In fact, the world would have been much better off if we had done right. Everything would have been right. Mm-hmm. Because the earth would have been conducted the way God wanted it to be conducted. But we didn't go there, sister and brother. Jeremiah 12, we're going to start at verse 7, 12 and 7. Okay, go ahead.
I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage.
Go ahead.
I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemy.
Ain't that something? They didn't come and take him by force.
That's right.
I gave them to him. I have forsaken my house. I have left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul unto her enemies. Because he loved this woman. That's why I had a song written about in the Song of Solomon.
That's right.
Go ahead and read. Mine
heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest.
Go ahead.
It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it.
Whoa. Well, you know God can't hate. What did that book say?
Hated it.
It's because it's like a lion in the forest. It cries out against me and still doing it.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird.
Go ahead.
The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
So it's not like a speckled bird. You don't fit nowhere. All other nations don't like you. All the races don't like you. Like a speckled bird, you don't fit nowhere. Because the Lord says unto me like that. He fixed it that way. Go ahead and read.
Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard.
So he said, come ye. Assemble all you beasts of the field, come to devour. Who are these beasts of the field? Your pastors. Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. That's the same one that he planted. But the pastors went out there and planted them wild grapes in it with these falsehoods. Go ahead and read.
They have trod my portion underfoot.
Go ahead.
They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness.
So the pastors did that. And the one that taught my people and led my people, they turned my people against me. Now it's just like a destroyed wilderness. Don't have a tree left standing. Go ahead and read.
They have made it desolate, and being desolate, it mourneth unto me.
We're on our knees all the time. Lord have mercy. But go ahead.
The whole land is made desolate because no man layeth it to heart.
Go ahead.
The spoilers are come upon all high places through the wilderness. For the sword of the Lord shall devour from the one end of the land even to the other end of the land.
Ain't that something? He said a spoiler. So who sent the spoiler? The Lord, sisters and brothers. Because he said the sword of the Lord is going to devour the whole land. Go ahead.
No flesh shall have peace.
In other words, he ain't going to have nobody left. The Lord said he's going to do this. That's why when he looked at Jerusalem, he had a reaction. Let's look at this reaction. Let's go into Luke, the 19th chapter. The Lord knew what he was going to do to this people because this people forced him to do it. It was Jesus, before he came in his Father's name, which is Jesus. He was the one talking about his beloved vineyard. He was the one. But the whole thing is, he said, he was an alien to his mother's children.
That's right.
That's the children of Israel, sister and brother. So he said, look, the sword of the Lord, my sword is going to be from one end of the land to the other. Ain't nobody going to escape. I'm going to take out the good with the bad. I'm going to scrape Israel like you scrape a rock. I ain't going to leave nothing on it. We're going to start at verse 41. Luke 19, and we're going to start reading at verse 41. So the Lord knew what he's going to do. So he knew that if he said, he got to do it because he cannot lie, sisters and brothers. So look at his reaction when he was walking up on Jerusalem. Verse 41. Go ahead.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it.
When he looked at it, knowing what he going to do to it, he just started crying, sister and brother. And look what he said. Go ahead and read.
Saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes.
He said, if only you had known. See, our fathers knew, but they didn't listen. Are the things that belong to your peace, but now they're hid from you. Now they're showing up hid nowadays because don't nobody teach the word no more. But look what he said in that day when he was walking. Go ahead and read.
For the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee.
Go ahead.
And cast thee round, and keep thee in on every side.
Your enemy going to come, the day going to come when your enemy going to cast a trench around you, and they're going to keep you in on every side. You ain't going to be able to escape from Jerusalem. And they're going to lay you even to the ground. Go ahead and read.
And shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee.
Go ahead.
And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
He said, the day gonna come when I'm gonna do this to you. I want to tell you, sister and brother, that day have come already. And we know what day it was. We're gonna go into the history books, atlas of the Bible. Start at page 201, and we're going to read some on page 202. This is a history book, sisters and brothers. And you can find this, what you read out of this book, in other history books. Go ahead and read it.
Revolts against Rome.
Revolts against Rome. Go ahead.
In 68, the Roman commander launched a methodical campaign to isolate Jerusalem. The overthrow and suicide of the Emperor Nero brought operations in Judea to a temporary halt.
Go ahead.
As Vespasian prudently withdrew to test the imperial winds.
Now you know about Rome, and you know about the ones that played the fiddle while Rome burned. That was Nero. And you know about Vespasian. If you had any kind of education, you should know about this. We're talking people that's happened under the Roman Empire.
That's right.
So there was assault in Jerusalem because Jerusalem hadn't rebelled. So now Vespasian, when Nero died, Vespasian, he wanted to go back to Rome, so he see if he can become emperor.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
Eventually, he himself was declared emperor. Sailing for Rome in the spring of 70, he left his capable son, Titus, in charge of the campaign against Jerusalem.
That's Emperor, that's a Roman general Titus. So he turned it over to him. So now you finish what I'm starting. I'm going to go back and see if I can be emperor. Go ahead and read.
The walls enclosing the temple and the upper and lower cities were the most formidable barrier of all. Postponing an all-out assault, Titus turned to starvation tactics.
Go ahead.
A certain amount of food had been smuggled into the city almost nightly during the siege. But now the Romans sealed off Jerusalem completely with a wall of their own, made of earth and some 5 miles in circumference.
Now, where did he get that dirt from that they built that dirt wall around Jerusalem? Just like they had to get it out the ground. That's that trench that Jesus said, a day gonna come when your enemy shall cast a trench around you and lay you even to the ground, you and your children. So the Romans built a wall all around Jerusalem. You couldn't get in or you couldn't get out. This is recorded history reading. Go ahead and read.
From the outset of the siege, those attempting to get through the encircling lines had been caught and crucified.
Go ahead.
Sometimes the daily executions reached 500.
Look at 70 AD. People talking about the cross, the symbol of Jesus. No, that's the Roman death symbol. When they was taking Jerusalem, they used it to kill people before. And when they were taking Jerusalem down in 70 AD, they was crucifying up to 500 Israelites a day. And you think I'm going to wear that around my neck? Go ahead and read.
The crosses were never bare.
It was never bare.
Inside the city, starvation and disease claimed a mounting toll. Bodies filled the streets and were stacked in houses.
Go ahead.
Thousands of corpses were thrown from the walls into the valleys below.
Ain't that something? I mean, when Titus took Jerusalem down. Did you finish that?
No.
Go ahead.
The surviving rebels made a last-ditch stand within Herod's palace. The battering rams resumed their rhythmic work.
Go ahead.
When the legionnaires at last broke into this refuge, they found only corpses.
Go ahead.
Herod's palace and the rest of the upper city were put to the torch. Jerusalem was a city of the dead.
And the Lord said, they ain't going to leave one stone upon another. That happened in 70 AD under the hand of the Roman general Titus, Vespasian's son. And then not only did Jesus know that this was going to happen, he warned you, so the people still could have got out. But they didn't believe him. Now let's go to Luke, the 21st chapter. Luke chapter 21. Lord, even he tell you that he's going to bring destruction upon you. Then he warn you, then give you a way out if you would bother to listen. Just like the great tribulation that's coming up on the earth. He has given us a way out. Will we listen? So he warned them. Luke 21, and start reading at verse 20. Luke 21 and verse 20. Okay, go ahead.
And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
So when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, what, the Roman armies? Then you better know that the destruction of it is near. Go ahead and read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
Go ahead.
And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto.
He said, now, when you see this start to happen, get out of Jerusalem. All of you that's out of Jerusalem, don't come back.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
See, this is a part of what was written in the Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. It took time to fulfill all of this prophecy. He said, so this is the days, this is all that was written by the prophet, this is the day when it's going to be fulfilled. This is the day, because after this day, we ain't never had nobody, no real Israelites in the land that's in charge. Go ahead and read.
But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land.
Go ahead.
And wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
He said, so Jerusalem is going to fall by the edge of the sword, because I'm going to bring wrath upon these Israelites. And they are going to be led away captive into all the nations of the earth until the times of the Gentile be fulfilled. What is that, Brother Boo? God gave each one of Noah's sons a time to run this earth. The first one he gave it to was Ham. He blew it. Then he gave it to Shem. He blew it. So he finally gave it to Japheth, and he is blowing it. But still, his time is still here. And as long as his time is here, Israel is in captivity.
To today's lesson. If you are in the Chicagoland area, we welcome you to join our church community every Saturday at 12 noon Central. We are located at 520 West 138th Street in Riverdale, Illinois. Our ministry is made possible by your donations. To make a donation or to view all of our locations across the world, please visit our website at www.theisraelofgod.com.
Way to worship God. And if God gave us
so when you went down in that water, even so by the right
being God had become a flesh